One of Iran's main demands is a ceasefire in Lebanon. Israeli forces and Hezbollah have been fighting in the southern Lebanese town of Bin Jbeil. Lebanese security sources say Israeli tanks were advancing towards the area, and Israeli troops have taken control of all entrances to the town. Israeli strikes have also continued across the south. At least 7 people have been killed in the city of Tyre, while nearby Qana was also hit. The violence comes as Hezbollah reiterates its rejection of direct negotiations with Israel to end the war. Heidi Pett joins us now live from the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Heidi, Benjamin Netanyahu visited Israeli troops currently occupying southern Lebanon. Just tell us what happened.
Yeah, he made a brief visit inside southern Lebanon today, which was essentially a PR stunt. He came alongside the Israeli Defense Minister, Israel Katz, and also the Chief of Staff of the Israeli military. Now, once they were back inside Israeli territory, Netanyahu released a short video during which he said that when they were inside Lebanon, that he had an operational briefing from the troops, visited a few of them. And in that statement, more crucially, he said that the war will continue, including inside what he described as the security zone in Lebanon. And we have certainly seen that across the south today. Israeli airstrikes have continued. There's been a pause in the capital in the last couple of days. That is reportedly due to US pressure on Israel to leave Beirut and its suburbs alone in advance of these talks that are expected on Tuesday. But across the south, there have been multiple airstrikes today, including one which directly targeted, it was a drone strike, in fact, an ambulance belonging to the Lebanese Red Cross. Now, that killed one paramedic. His name is Hassan Badawi, and it injured one other. It's prompted the Lebanese Ministry of Health to issue another complaint, and they say that they will be pursuing international legal action against the systematic targeting of healthcare workers here in Lebanon. And we've also seen a concentration of Israeli efforts on the town of Bin Jbeil. Perhaps they are seeking to be able to announce some kind of victory ahead of these talks, which will take place in Washington on Tuesday.
Heidi, Israel and the Lebanese government are planning to hold direct talks on Tuesday. In and of itself, that is quite remarkable, but the talks don't include Hezbollah. So what are these talks going to be about, and what are the expectations around them?
So the talks will take place at the ambassadorial level. That is, that the Lebanese ambassador to the US will sit down with the Israeli ambassador to the US. Now, they set this up in a phone call on Friday evening, Beirut time. After that phone call, the Lebanese president's office issued a statement saying that the two had agreed to discuss announcing a ceasefire. But then shortly afterwards, the Israeli ambassador himself issued another statement saying that no, in fact, they hadn't discussed a ceasefire with Hezbollah. And the difference between those two statements makes it very clear. The Israelis vowing that they want to continue targeting Hezbollah while engaging in these direct negotiations with the Lebanese state, which is not a party to the conflict, but it hasn't actually stopped Israel from targeting employees and indeed infrastructure belonging to the Lebanese government. They have systematically destroyed the civilian infrastructure here in Lebanon, including bridges across the Litani River. Their airstrikes have targeted government employees. There was one in the last couple of days which killed 13 members of the state security forces, and indeed one just in the last couple of hours, in fact, in the Bekaa Valley, which killed a soldier from the Lebanese army. So potentially what they are seeking by saying they're not talking about a ceasefire with Hezbollah is a return to the status quo of the previous ceasefire, which was agreed in November of 2024, which was quite a lopsided ceasefire. Hezbollah stopped firing into Israel, but Israel continued airstrikes, drone strikes, and indeed maintained its ground position at several locations here inside Lebanon. So the gap between those two positions could well be explained by that. And Hezbollah, for its part, has said that it will continue fighting until its last breath.
All right, that's Heidi Pett live for us from Beirut. Thanks so much, Heidi.